now we're at the time where the Hamashiach is getting ready to come.
And hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I am the Lord.
Last words, brother.
Shalom, ma.
All right.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Israel.
Shabbat shalom, Israel. Happy
The
Shabbat.
bruise scattered to the four corners. All right. Want to welcome everybody on this live. All right. We're just going to go down, me and Brother Eitan, we like to just kind of, recognize the brews that are on.
That's right.
All right. Because y'all been hanging with us for a good minute. All right. All right. So we got a good topic for you all. The destruction of Israel, part 1. The end of economic power. Now, we're going to be doing this in 3 parts, because basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be covering 3 generations, all right? We're going to be talking about the time that we pretty much came out of the chains. I'm not going to say slavery in a sense, because y'all know the deal already. So the Constitution was never for us, and how quickly we bounced back. Our resiliency was so powerful back then, especially from like the 1940s, 30s to the 50s. Things were a lot different. And for those of you who are on the live and who are old enough to remember as well, you know exactly. So everything was different. It almost feels like we living in a different dimension today. It's so different. Just the mannerism of how our people conducted themselves, the way our people dressed, you name it. Everything was just different. The amount of respect for the elders, back in those days. If you even talk back to an elder, that elder will whoop you, and guess what? So you get home, you get another one. You get another whooping.
That's right.
So that's the way it was. And I remember even when I was growing up, when I spent some time growing up in Mississippi, they still had the they would take you to the back with that paddle. You act up, and you would get spanked by the principal.
Right. That's right. Or take your hand with the ruler in the classroom.
Yep. Right.
You used to get hit with the ruler in the classroom. Back in my day, the teachers were allowed to beat you.
Yep.
If you were acting a donkey.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So they had all that stuff instilled. But if you notice gradually, the discipline started falling away, and but there's a lot of things that me and Brother Eitan are going to bring out that kind of leads up to why the condition and the reason why we're in the situation we're in now with our people. And that's why we have to kind of do this in 3 parts, so we kind of really break this down, so you can see the numbers, you can see the stats, and you can see kind of how the degradation kind of started with our people, and where we went wrong and what have you. So I really look forward to sharing it with you. So, but first, before we get started, I want to go ahead and share a scripture. Let me go ahead and see if I can put this up here. All right. Y'all can't see that, so let me adjust the there we go. Can you see the screen?
Let me see. Yeah, loud and yep, I can see you, brother. Clear.
All right. It says this is coming from Proverbs 13 and verse 22. It says, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just." Hey, Brother Eitan, you mind elaborating on that a little bit? I need to go plug in right quick. I forgot to plug my Ethernet in, so I'm operating from Wi-Fi. So
okay, Con.
Give me a few seconds.
Con, I got you out. It says, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just." Right. So let's that means it's pretty much if you're a father, right? If you're a father, right? If you have children, you're going to work hard. If you're going to keep the commandments and you're going to be a righteous brother, right? The Most High is going to bless you, right? In Deuteronomy, it says that if you keep things that are of abomination, and you don't, if you don't keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, that you're going to be under a curse, right? That you will be under the curse if you don't do these particular things. So a righteous man, right? If he's doing the law, statutes, and commandments, he's going to have the will and the drive, right? Make substance for his family, right, to make substance for his family. So much so to the point that he'll have a lot of substance, wealth, riches, or whatever, whatever it may be, land or animals or whatever it may be, that he'll be able to leave an inheritance, right, to his children's children, even if this is a business or whatever it is. All right, brother, you back?
I'm back.
All right.
Yeah, that's the fact. In Israel, that's so important, especially to the scripture says that the beginning of wisdom is the fear. The fear of wisdom is the beginning of the fear of the Most High. All right. And so as we strive to keep these laws and commandments, these laws and commandments were specifically built to keep us on that straight and narrow. All right. And this is why so many things are out of order today, because for the fact that we've turned our backs on the Most High. We don't keep the commandments. And without that, we have no respect for one another. Everything is out of order. This is why you have 72 is probably much higher right now. 72% of Israelite babies being born are born to unwed mothers. You look at the decline in the marriage rates from the 1930s, even goes forward back from the late 1800s all the way to this present time, which me and Brother Achan is going to show you. All right. So, all those things are really, you have to really take an account of what's going on to understand, okay, how do we get back to that? How do we get back to the way it used to be as far as, our people having some kind of economical freedom, and again, the key is getting back to the laws, commandments, and statutes. I don't know if you can see the screen. Can you see the screen, brother?
God, I see you loud and clear, brother.
All right. So I just wanted to kind of just show y'all like what Black Wall Street was really like. And just for the record, Tulsa, Oklahoma was not the only place they had Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street was all across the Midwest. All right. But just a prime example of Black Wall Street, they had a lot of business districts. They had a lot of stores that they pretty much created. So a few brothers bought land, and then they sold it. They sold the land to their other brothers and everything, and that's kind of how it really spread. So,
actually, just to elaborate a little bit on this, let me share something, brother, for a second. Let me stop this. There was a guy, right? There was a brother, right? By the name of O.W. Gurley, right? Gurley, and I think he was born in 1867 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But he was one of the wealthiest, Israelite men that was out there, and he was the founder of the Greenwood district in Tulsa, Oklahoma. What we call today Black Wall Street, right? Which was in Huntsville, Alabama, I believe. Right.
No, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, that's where he was from. That's where the brother was from, right? The brother was from Huntsville, Alabama. Let me see if I can share a picture with him or something like that. Give me a second. Let me see.
I can pull him out right quick.
Right.
I got it.
Yeah, Con, I got it on there.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah. So this is the brother from way back in the day, right? O.W. Gurley, right? He was the founder, right? One of the richest brothers that was out there. Now, understand that during this time, right? This was before the civil rights era, right? We was on our own, right? This is when brothers was working with brothers. We didn't need we didn't need these heathens. We didn't use these heathens. We didn't do any of this stuff. This is when our own people were being where we were self-sustaining at the particular time, right? So yeah, right. As you see, he was born December 25th, 1867, and he died 1935, right? So he died at the age of 67, that it says here, right? So this is the guy that started Tulsa, Oklahoma, what we know today as Black Wall Street, before it was bombed by the damn heathens.
And their mindset was not individualized. They had the mindset of coming together, all right? And so when these brothers came together, and O.W. Gurley, they jumped on the opportunity. And I forgot how many acres they bought. It was quite a bit.
40. It was 40 acres.
Yeah, it was 40. They started off with 40 acres, and they ended up getting a lot more.
But Black Wall Street itself, the whole development set on only 40 acres, believe it or not, before they started buying land and trying to branch out.
Yeah. that's huge. You know what I'm saying. 40 acres and that our people's always taken very little. They've done a lot with it.
Con, absolutely.
But just the way they the way they came together, and did that. We've always been pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. And matter of fact, if you read the records, it was said that even the lowest paid Israel that was working and for Black Wall Street was still making more than minimum wage than the heathens were making. And that right there says a lot. And it says a lot when you control your own economy and when you control your own wealth. And that way you control the inflow and outflow of your communities. All right. And that's why, it's so important to have land, to have some kind of establishment so that
Con,
you can control the inflow and outflow. But now, we're all integrated with the heathens and everything, and buying land is getting harder and harder. All right.
and they don't want you to have it.
No, no. So, and y'all can study the history, all this stuff. I didn't want to spend too much time on it because I wanted to bring some other stuff out. But I wanted to talk about also, and I know Brother Aton has some things too. So, talking about the marriage rate amongst our people back then was a lot strong, and that made a big difference too. Because if it wasn't for that fact, they probably wouldn't be able to accomplish Black Wall Street. Because you need two. And having that mother and father and everything creates that more unity. And having families that have the same thing coming together creates that unity. So I don't know if y'all can see the screen right here. So it says from 1890 to 1940, the Black marriage rate was slightly higher than that of the white marriage rate. Now that's pretty steep considering that Blacks back then only made up like maybe 12 point something percent of the US. Now, that says a lot right there.
That's right.
But there's one particular I wanted to go down and read for y'all. Find it here. Okay, here it is right here. So it says in 1925, in the Big Apple, otherwise known as New York City, 85% of Black households were two-parent households. Even early as 1880 in Philadelphia, 75% of Black families were two-parent households. If you were to go to 1999, those numbers went down drastically, and they have believed that such racial achievements, also fell for a white parent household as well, but mostly for our people, and we already know why. And Brother Aton, I believe Brother Aton also has a graph he's going to show you as well.
God,
But
I'm gonna bring that out a little later.
yeah, that's fine. But just Israel, just talking about this brings chills down my spine. It just amazes me how far we've gone backwards. All right. And I don't want to spill the beans too much, but a lot has happened because I know we still have a lot to cover, and I don't want to just jump ahead. Put the cart, the crater before the horse. So, Brother H, was that?
No, I was just laughing at what you were saying. That's all.
Oh yeah, always whatever they call it, cradle before the horse.
Con.
Yeah. Brother Aton, you got anything?
Yeah. Yeah. Hold up. I'm about to pull this up in a second. Give me 1 second, real quick. All right. Proverbs 3:31. Right. Let me pull that up on the screen. Right, because I want to show what really began the situation that we gained to now. Right, because the scriptures are really clear about this. Right. This is one of the one of my favorite scriptures. This and of course, go to Jeremiah 10. Right, when it says that. Don't follow the ways of the heathens, right? So y'all got to remember, right? From the very beginning, our people, as soon as we came out of slavery, right, we were doing good, right? We were, what they would say, pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. It's okay. They stole from us, they took everything from us, and they didn't want to give us anything, but we were still coming up as a people, right? So much so that they felt that they needed to destroy Tulsa, Oklahoma, because of the wealth that we were gaining there, right? Because of the wealth and the and just and just the overall success that we were gaining without them, right? That was their problem. Like, they didn't want to believe that we could come straight out of slavery, ignorant, none of us, most of us didn't know how to read, and things of that nature, right? Let me see. Slavery was abolished in slavery was abolished in 18 no, slack. It was, 1867.
So
No,
1860.
1865. Salaki is right. I was about to say 1867 for some reason. Yeah, right. And then so slavery was abolished officially, right, in 1865, where they came up with the 13th Amendment, where like the section has said like neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, and something about you can't get the only way they can get you on that if you've been convicted of a crime, right, and then they'll be able to lock you up and put you back into slavery, which technically is what's going on today, as you see in the prison systems, right? The prison systems are like a slave ship, but they don't move, right? They're there, right? The most of our people are in there, right? Let me see.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull the screen up right quick.
All right,
we
Con.
just read it. I actually got the.
All right, Con, man, bring that up.
Yeah. Oh, just had it. There we go.
Right. Because I want you to see how soon we came up with Black Wall Street directly after the abolishment of slavery. Right there it is. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States. So in other words, you don't become a slave unless you have done some unless you have broke the white man's law. Right. If you broke the white man's law, then they have the right to put you back as a slave. Right. You mind bringing up? Let me see something. If I have
before you go, I want to elaborate on something though, because while I got a thought in my head about the 13th Amendment. Now,
bring it out.
Look at the part where it says, it says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except I'm gonna tell you how smooth these people are. These heathens are, except as a punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted. Israel, you got to understand the minds of these people. So, with that being said, they've created certain laws or certain things. There's a documentary out called Slavery by Another Name. All right, so they were creating what you call vagrants laws, which made it easy. Like, I'll give you an example. If a black man was with an Israelite man was walking down the street, you couldn't look a white person in the eye. That was called reckless eyeballing. You can go to jail for that. Get 5 years. Spitting on the ground, loud talking. Because they know us, they know that when we get together, we talk loud. We're very charismatic people, so we tend to talk loud, use our hands and everything. Fast forward today. Remember when was it Bill Clinton that did the 3 strikes you're out?
Yeah.
So
Bill Clinton.
Right.
I thought that was Reagan. The 3 strike law, or was that never mind. Reagan had the war on drugs.
Yeah,
that was right. Slovakia. Go ahead.
Yeah. So when they came up with the 3 strike you're out, that was geared towards our people. So this is how you do it. I'm gonna tell you, this is how smooth they are. You bring in drugs, you create the situation, you make it easy for Israel to commit the crimes. Bam! Now you have a justification to lock them up. But to the whole world, it seems like these people just being evil, when these heathens really have been behind of creating the situation to make it a lot easier for the brothers to commit the crimes and everything. And that's the psychology behind that stuff. I mean, it's so in depth. Like, they thought about every avenue of it.
So, just okay. So if you look at the numbers, right? Like I said, by this time, right, they have since the 18, right, since the time that we've got the 13th Amendment was passed, right, in 1865. Right, during if you look now, right, around about the 1900s, they have reclaimed about 23,000 of us, right, back into the prison system, which means that we have 23,000 more brothers and sisters, in prison, right? So we got 23,000 of us in prison right after that. So we already know that they've been, they've been slowly, like we know, right? These folks, they had these 20-year, 30-year, 50-year plans that they try to put into work to try to make sure that they keep our people, right, oppressed to the point that we do not have any kind of power at all to rise up and to be on our own. Right. So if you look at this chart right here, like I said before, it says 18. Hold on, wait. Before I go that far, right, I just want to show one thing. Right? I just want to show one thing. Give me 1 second, Israel. Right, because Black Wall Street, right? Black. When did we start Black? In 1865. Let me see. When Black Wall Street started? Let me look that up real quick.
It was in the late 1800s when they started getting the foundations and everything. Yeah, bring it up.
Let me see when it was built, because I want to see how soon after slavery that we built that thing. Right. Okay. Boom. Right. So it says it was built in the 18. Well, it started. The foundations of the Greenwood District had started in the 1830s when the brothers had migrated to Oklahoma. Right. Because we know that everybody wasn't freed at one time. It took a good little minute for everybody to get freed at once, and then that's when they passed the amendment. Right. So the foundations had started even before that. That's 36 years before we got officially. Before the amendment was officially passed to release our people from captivity, right? So just imagine that while we were still going through our hardships, we were already setting the foundations and the groundwork to build up a society for our own people. Albeit it may small, but there were plenty of different, organizations and cities that we were building that was around the United States, right? But this just happened to be one of the most prominent ones, right? Black Wall Street. Right. So if you see in the 1830s, right, in the 1830s is when we first started building it. Now, when did they destroy it? Let me see. When did they destroy that thing? When was Black Wall Street destroyed? Give me a minute, Israel. Let me look this up real quick. Right, because I just want to see how fast was the rise of
So like 1920.
Yeah. Right. So boom. Right. It says Library of Congress on May. Okay. Black residence homes. Okay, so it started in 1921, right, when they had when they started to shut us down, right? Yeah. Because we had an oil boom city, right? You know what I'm saying? We were sitting on oil boom, right? So we were sitting on oil, right? That's big boy money right there. You know, that's tycoon money, and they didn't want us to have that, right? So 1921, from the early 1800s to 1921, right, we have started to build up this situation, right? So if you look at the years, right, man, the Black economic power, right, we were strong, we were growing up, right? And then like last week, if you saw the pictures of our people back in those days, you should look and see how we dressed, how we acted. We had our family unit was 100% good to go, right? Let's go ahead and let me show something. Let me show something real quick.
And, why is pulling that too? The morality was so high amongst our people, and you didn't, like I said, you didn't disrespect the elders. They did not take no mess. That was that generation where they would whoop you right there in the front.
That's right, Con.
Get out of line.
Now, if you look at here, right, it says Black men more likely to be married than white men until 1960, right? That was damn near during the start of the civil rights era, where they had systematically started to cause our women to fight against us, right? They started putting the women on the front lines, doing all kind of crazy stuff. And so you'll see at the chart, as you see, like the end of the 1970s is when the civil rights movement has stopped, and as you see how it skyrocketed, the marriage rate started to drop, right? These are people that were never married, right? So if you see through the 1890, right, all the way on up, right, our marriage levels were looking good. We were looking good as far as marriage, under 10%, right? Under 10%. Let's go. Let me see. Black women more likely to be married than white women. Man, y'all were doing good. Look at that, right? Sisters was doing good. Y'all were just a little bit over 5% until the civil rights movement happened. What was going on with the civil rights movement is when y'all started listening to the white man, right? To really our own, to everybody started listening to the white man, our people as well, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, our brothers and sisters alike. They started going back to, oh man, this was the issue, right? We were complaining about the school systems and how the white man had stuff that was better than us, right? And so the Most High already told us right here in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Choose none of his ways, right? Our people, have you ever, if you go over there to Africa and, all those other stuff, their original ways, right? The things that they learn, it's not like schoolhouses and doctrines and all the exact same way that they have schools of thought. True, but it's not the same way that these heathens teach it over here. It's not even the same doctrine or anything that these heathens teach. So what we did, we was complaining, right? We whined and cried about what the white man had. And you know what we wanted to do, right? A couple of lowbrow, right? And then they wanted to do the same things that the heathens do. Man, we want to be included with y'all things and this, that, and the third. Now, during the time period, right, when we had just separated ourselves from these heathen, and then all the heathens down south, they were struggling, they were going broke, right? They was having a hard time managing everything because of the plantations. They were void of slaves. Now a couple of slaves slaved because they didn't have nothing else to do, because they didn't know what else to do other than the work that they had did for the white man at the time. But as a whole, right, you got to look at the financial impact that the abolition of slavery had to our people, or had to the white man, right? They didn't like that, right? They was mad, right? They did not like that. They were upset that the situation was going on, right? So they were all too ready to have us back at the table again. They were all too ready to have us back at the table again, right? What I'm saying? Like, let me see. I think, let me see. All right. No, this is not the one. Salakia. This is the one. I wanted to show another one. All right. Oh, you got anything to say? Yeah, if you got something to say.
No. When we talk about the welfare, there was something I was gonna bring out, kind of when it started and everything. But go ahead.
Okay, Con.
That'll fall in line.
All right. Let me see something. Boom. Right.
Ann Moody, Carolina.
Now, look at this right here, right? Why? Like we had our own restaurant. We had our own restaurants, but instead, right, you got three coons, 1, 2, 3, think they're doing something good, but instead they're envying what the oppressor has. It says, envy not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. But they feel some type of way, right? Because they want to sit in the white man's restaurant and eat the white man's food because it feels that it is better than their food. That's the situation of our people, right? And look at the spectacle. All these white people are like, after we just got done whooping their ass for hundreds of years, right? Now you got a few, man. Now you see how the Most High, has our people. You have a few dumb niggas, right? Just a few ignorant niggas that can cause us a world of problems, right? Not everybody is thinking this, right? The majority of us, we want it to be segregated because segregation was good. Why would you want to be back into the same boat as the same people that was whooping your behind?
Hey, put that video back up, and can you go back to the part? I want to bring something out. Back to the part where they were in that white restaurant.
All right, Con, give me a sec, Doc.
Yeah.
Give me a sec.
I'll try to catch it so you took it down.
Con, while I pull that up, go ahead and tell the people something good.
So Israel. So what I wanted to show you when he brings that back up, when integration started and everything, it wasn't our people did not want that. Majority of our people did not want that. I'm gonna tell you who was behind all of that, and it was the white liberals. All right. It was the same people that was behind the Black Lives Matter movement. Black folks don't own Black Lives Matter. All right, they just put the word black on it to tie it to us. Has nothing to do with us. It's just another way to degrade us and to bring us even to a lower state. But getting back to when our people were going into these restaurants, getting their heads beat in, you had some white liberals that was with them, but that was their push. Just like Brother Eitan said, we had a lot of our own black-owned businesses, and the main reason why they started integration anyway in the first place, because remember when they bombed Black Wall Street back in 1921, y'all know that they rebuilt right after that. Yeah, they don't tell you about that. You can read up on that too. It didn't take them long. They rebuilt after that, and these heathens saw how resilient we were becoming, and that that bombing like caused other Midwestern little towns and stuff to create their own little Black Wall Streets. And then somebody came up with the bright idea. Okay, these Negroes, they're too strong. They're not going to stop. They're going to keep trying to get together. We need to create something that's going to disperse them all. And integration was the nail in the coffin because prior to that, we had our own, like brother said, we had our own businesses.
God.
And then like years later, after we integrated, it just started slowly selling out, because these heathens were offering money and they just bought them out. And our people were just easily selling out their stuff. So don't let these politicians fool you to make you think that our people wanted this stuff. Our people didn't want this stuff. Our people, because they were following the ways of the heathens, and these white liberals were pushing that stuff, and our people fell for the rope a dope. Why do you think they didn't follow why do you think they didn't follow Malcolm X? They followed Martin Luther King instead. They was behind that stuff. You know what I'm saying? If we would have followed Malcolm X's way, we could have been a very powerful people. We probably would have been knocking down doors and all kinds of stuff. But that's what happened. All right, brother.
Con. Now, during the integration period, right? During the integration period, because it is evident that back in the back in the early 1800s and on up, right after after 1865 and so on, right, our people started gaining economic wealth, right? These heathens had to put a stop to it, right? And not only did the heathens have to put a stop to it, but the scriptures say that we fight against dark forces, right? Unseen, unclean spirits. I mean, stuff that we would never imagine that would exist for the untrained mind, right? For the mind that doesn't read these scriptures, right? You wouldn't understand the type of battles, the spiritual battles that you have to go through. Now, even though our people back in those days, we decided to take the clothing of the white man and all this other stuff. See, that's already a problem in itself, because everything that we have been taught, right, like as far as clothing is concerned and this, that, and other, right, we had adopted, right, we had adopted their ways, the clear ways that the scriptures say in Jeremiah 10:2, right? We're not supposed to follow the ways of the heathen. Proverbs 3:31, we're not supposed to be jealous or envy the way of the heathen or any of that stuff. Like, if you look around the world, let's say in Iran, Iraq, and you see the Arab nation, and you go over there, you go to India, and you see how those people dress. Everybody dresses different. They have their own cultural, style, the way they dress. Right, one of the few peoples, right, on the earth that don't have their own cultural style of dress is us. Right, we have adopted the ways of the heathen so forth that it's hard to tell the difference between who is who. Right, the only difference that we have nowadays is you have, niggas out there busting sags. They got your, having your, pants down below your legs, and then you having this, super big clothing on and all kind of other crazy stuff. Right, well, maybe having super baggy clothing may be maybe down to the genetic history that's in you that tells you that you used to wear flowy clothing, right? Because if you see our garments from back in the days, it was very comfortable, right? They were very flowy, and it didn't have the restrictions of what the heathen wears. Right, it was just a different thing, even though we wore pants and and this, that, and the third, but it was just a different way how we present ourselves nowadays.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I remember my grandma, dad telling me that even in the homes, some of these families, you had to wear a shirt and tie, even if you was in the house. That was just the normal dress. We dressed professionally.
God.
And man, when you see the difference between back then and now, it's a drastic difference. And again, that comes from following the heathen over time. Of course, all the other stuff that crept in with the gangster rap industry, all that have you, exploiting women and all that kind of stuff. It takes a toll, and our people see that kind of stuff, and then it's just like a chain reaction. One thing leads to another. So.
All right. Now when the start of integration, right? The start of integration, right? We had a woman by the name of things Ruby Bridges, right? Ruby Bridges. There's a woman, right? A 6-year-old little girl that they had right decided to put into an elementary school in the South, right? She was only 6, right? So this was during like around about 1960, right? This is the beginning of the civil rights era, right? So all through the beginning, right? We already knew that we had economic power and we were building up. What we're concentrating on is how we were destroyed, right? How we were destroyed as a people, and we're gonna do three segments on this, right? I guess they take as long as they take, right? But we're gonna do 3 segments on this and showing like how from the beginning, right? We started to fall and these mistakes that we have made, right? As a people, as together, right? As men and women, right? These mistakes that we have made that have led us down the path that we are on now, right? So there's a sister by the name of Ruby Bridges, right? She's around about 6 years old, and they put her into a school.
Can you see
right?
this? Can you see this? Can you see the screen right there?
Oh, Khan. Yep. That's her right there. All praises to the Most High. That's the little girl right there, right? Now, what I want you to do is, hey, back that out real quick. Back that picture out. Can you back that picture out? Okay, Khan, right? What's around her? You don't see not one. You don't see not one. One, you don't see her father. Number 2, you don't see her mother. What do you see, right? During a situation like this, you shouldn't be surrounded by 3 heathens, right? You should not be surrounded by 3 heathens. Now, I think personally, right, that this family was influenced by the heathens to put their daughter in schools. That's what I personally think, right? The reason being is because the father of Ruby Bridges, William, I think it's no, hold up. No, matter of fact, the father of her is a bond, right? He lost his job, right? I think he was a gas station clerk or like or something like that, right? He lost his shop. You know what I'm saying? He lost his shop, right? They little family store or whatever. You know what I mean? They lost their job and they got shut down, right? Their own people had turned their back against them. So this will tell you that this is not the will of a lot of our people, but only a few.
And again, the white liberals were behind all of this. So I brought up this. I don't know if you can see the picture, but prior to civil rights, we had our own bus lines. We had our own leagues. You go look up the Negro League. See, a lot of folks don't talk about that. We had the Negro Leagues prior to the integration, and man, we were kicking butt. They couldn't handle us. This is why they had to integrate us. This is why, because we were becoming too powerful. We were becoming too independent. So they used integration as a tool to demonetize us. Demonetize us. What I mean by that, they knew that when we integrated with when we integrate with them, they know that slowly and surely our businesses would diminish, our Negro Leagues would diminish, then we would join in with them. You see how it is? So every time we try to do something, even unto this current day, they always want a hand in it. They never want, it's like they never want to allow us to do our own thing, build our own community. They always want to put their paws in it and try to sabotage it, like they've been doing for so long. And integration was a way of sabotaging, the rising up of our people economically.
I'm gonna see who Robert Coles. I'm gonna see what a picture. I bet you he's a heathen. $100. All right. Let me see some Robert Coles.
I'm gonna pull up the white liberals of the civil rights movement.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this dude's a doggone. Robert Coles is a psychiatrist. Yeah, he's a heathen. All right, bet. Okay, so what I wanted to show here is all right. It says child psychiatrist Robert Coles, right? And let me show you a picture of him real quick. All right, let me show you a picture of this guy. Let me see if I can. Let me see. Stop this one and present this one. I hate how you have to go through so many different. I should just put it on the screen over there so I could just flip through the whole thing. I think that's what I'm gonna do next. Slock Israel, Robert Coles. This is the guy right here, right? All right. So Robert Coles is this particular heathen right here. Man, he looks like a pervert. I don't know. He's just weird, right? But this was the guy, right? Robert Coles, right? This dude right here that looks like a molester or some kind of killer, right? Ex-murderer. This guy is the one that was the psychiatrist, right, for Ruby during the time, right? To try to, like instead of it being her own people, right, trying to, say strengthen her up and trying to be like, well, if you're going through this thing, this, that, and the third, right? No, they didn't, they didn't want to do this, right? This guy is the one that's probably strengthening her up and telling, yeah, just make it, it'll be okay. These are the brains, right? These are the helpful hands of evilness. These are the helpful hands of wickedness that try to convince our people to stay in and integrated with these damn heathen, right? Imagine that you're a 6-year-old girl. You're away from your family. They done probably paid your family, no telling how much money to try to get this thing under there. Because guess what? The heathens are going down fast without us, right? Hey, when did the Great Depression happen? Right, the Great Depression was like damn near right after we came out of slavery, right? Yeah, boom, right here. Well, I mean, it wasn't too soon, but it's right here. Look at it, right?
The 1920s, something like that.
Yeah, 1929, right? The Great Depression started almost 1930 through right. The Great Depression started right around then. Now, right after the Great Depression, right, a few years later, about 10 years later, that's when they started the civil rights movement. Why? Right? Because shortly after slavery, they saw that we could make it on our own. And because we were making it on our own, their pockets were getting drained and empty because they are not able to be self-sustainable without our people. Thus, the Great Depression happened. And so the Great Depression happened. These heathens, they come up with these think tanks, right? They come up with these think tanks and stuff, and they were like, you know what, man, we're failing without blacks. We're failing without the Israelites that we kidnapped and stole, robbed, killed, and murdered and beat for hundreds of years, right? We're failing without them. We need them back. How are we going to get them back in our pockets? Because we need them to work for us still, and for them to get our money and to give it right back to us.
Yeah, and not only were the heathens failing in the 1920s and later, but even when you look at Israel, they were thriving. Because see, they don't tell you about them. They were thriving. Like I said, they rebuilt Black Wall Street in Tulsa. They rebuilt Black Wall Streets across the U.S. But you're never going to see them talk about that in history. Why? Because they don't want you to know how well Israel was doing, even during their Great Depression.
Con.
Yep.
Now you see right here, right? Blacks in prison. Now the Great Depression, boom. What happened during the Great Depression? Blacks in prison started to rise, right? Why? Well, because they needed to correct that. So you need to do what? Acquire more slaves, right? More people that'll work for you in order to offset the loss of financial gain. Notice that slowly but surely it starts to go up. Civil rights movement. We got another notch in the belt. It continues to go up. And then from 1970 to 1980, look how sharp that drop is. Boom, boom. We up there. Lots of us in prison. They've decided to declare war on drugs, right? Because they are already littered. Because it is a fact that the federal government puts drugs in our neighborhood. Of course, it's up to us to sell it or not. But, how many of us, lack education, going to think of, easy money? It's a real easy thing to be tempted with, right? It's a real easy temptation, right? How many, how easy is that for you to be tempted with free money? Oh yeah, man, we're gonna drop off some drugs in the hood, albeit we did sell it, and then we sold it to our own people, which is doing what? Destroying our own people, which is doing what? Putting slaves right back into the white man's hands, right? Because we're getting locked up. Like, you got to see. Go ahead.
It goes right back to the 13th Amendment.
Like, you got to see how these heathens are preying on our people, right? You have to see how these heathens are absolutely preying on our people,
Yeah, I just want to read this right quick.
Oh, go ahead, brother. Bring it out.
You see that? All right.
Con.
Again, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Brother Aton just brought that out, and I brought it out earlier. All right, the prisons. They built prisons specifically. They put the drugs in the community to make it easy for Israel to commit the crimes.
Con.
Israel wouldn't produce in the poppy seeds. We wouldn't grow in the cocaine fields.
Con.
You know, Israel was just pushing it. It was just the foot soldiers. But the ones who were growing the stuff were living in big mansions and everything, chilling.
Wickedness, right?
The head of the snake goes free most of the time, while the lower echelons are the ones who are getting the hit for it. So that's what happened. So you got to understand. So sisters, when you're talking about, men just didn't just leave the household. There was a design strategy against them called war, to make sure that they were going to put as many of Israel into prison.
So like I was saying, right? To add on a little bit what Brother Dane was saying, if we go back to this, this Sister Ruby Bridges and their family, right? You would see that they're being pushed by the heathen to do this, right? This is not something that we wanted to do as a whole of a people. We knew that after we got done, this is why they ran from the slave master, right? They tried to distance themselves and separate themselves from the slave master, right? You're not going to want to be around the same person that was whooping your behind for hundreds of years. It just doesn't make sense, right? So it says the child psychiatrist Robert Coles, and we just saw that dude looks like a chomo, right? Volunteered to provide counseling to Bridges during her first year at France. He met with her weekly in the Bridges home, so they had this heathen in their home. Later, writing in the children's book, The Story of Ruby Bridges, to acquaint other children with Bridges' story, Coles donated to the royalties from the sale of that book to the Ruby Bridges Foundation to provide money for school supplies and other educational needs for impoverished New Orleans school children. Right? All this sounds good, but you got to remember that they want our people in their schools learning their doctrine to work for their company to bring them more money to only pay you pennies. Right? They still do that same thing today. Like, let's say, for example, right, I'm an HVAC technician. I'll go out and I'll fix a unit, or I'll do a compressor change out or whatever, right? That's a $2,500, $3,000 job all day long, right? I go do that, right, for for my salary base, right? While I return the money that all that profit, it goes back to the heathens. It's the exact same thing today. Right, I do a ton of side work. I might make $7,000-8,000 in a week. Doing side work on commercial units, right? But if I'm working for the heathen and I'm on the clock, right, and I'm working for them, I'm really just bringing them all the money, even though I still get paid. It's the exact same thing that they want you to do is go to their schools, learn their stuff, work for their companies, work on their equipment, and bring them back all the money while they give you a small portion.
Well, you look at sorry, I mean to cut you off. You look at the sports industries, all right? There's a multi-billion-dollar a year sports industry. Now, when we had our own leagues, we had our own Negro League, we were doing well. And the money was, the owners were Israel. So where do you think that money was going to? It was not going to the heathens, but when integration happened, man, now we got these superhero sport checks on our teams now. We can make billions off of them. Yeah, sure. A $10 million contract sounds good for a person who's never had $10 million before. But you bring in all that money, like Brother Aton said, and then guess who's getting billions from it? It's the owners. Who are the owners? They are the heathens. So this whole thing was planned. They sat down and they planned this thing years in advance. How they were going to bring in the drugs, how they were going to cause Israel's downfall, just like it says in Psalms 83. Right?
Bring it out.
It was planned. Israel. In fact, let me bring that up right quick.
Okay.
Psalms 83. And I know y'all know it by heart and everything, but you know, sometimes it's just good to have a little reminder.
That's right.
All right. A second here. Psalms. So go ahead and just turn to Psalms 83. Psalms 83.
Psalm 83.
All right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get two precepts. So Psalms 83.
All right.
All right. It says, Psalms 83, verse 2 says, "For lo, your enemies make a tumult, and they that hate you have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against your people." The Ruby Ridges, how the heathens got involved, was pushing that stuff. The civil rights movements, the white liberals, and consulted against your hidden ones. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a what? Nation? Integration. Let's make them integrate with us, you know, so they can't come together for themselves, because eventually they're going to find out who they are if they continue to stick together. That the name of Yasharel may be no more in remembrance, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against you." And that's why it always blows my mind that these people, I mean, our people will go into these restaurants and everything, just get their heads, and sit there and just get their heads bashed in. What did that accomplish? Not one iota. Even
Not
into this
one
day. Even into this
iota.
day. And I guarantee you, if they're still alive right now, they're probably shaking their heads like, what was I thinking about going into this place? And when you look at the condition of our people now, it was a waste. It was a complete waste. Let's look at Psalms. Do you have anything you want to bring out right quick?
Well, I was going to finish that. I
go
was
ahead.
wait till you bring out that other article. I was going to wait till you bring in, read the other precept and then go back to the article.
Okay.
And then, read about what happened to the family,
Absolutely.
as a result of cooning and, falling victim to the damn devil.
All right. Let me bring out Psalms 2 right quick.
All right.
Right over you. All right.
Telling you, Israel, man, it's a wicked thing. And if you really look at it, they're really putting thought into keeping our people deaf, dumb, and blind to really what's going on.
Man, and it's even worse so now. It says, Psalms 2, so verse 1 says, "Why do the heathens rage, and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his Mashiach, saying, Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sits in the heavens shall laugh. Adonai shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. Yahweh has said unto me, You are my son. This day have I begotten you. Ask of me, and I shall give you the heathen for your inheritance, and the utmost part of the earth for your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron. You shall dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel." This is what they're afraid of. This is why they don't want us to come together, because they know that we come together, we're gonna discover who we are as a people, and it's gonna get strong. But then they come in and they try to break that.
Right. So and this back to the screen. So it says what? The Bridges family suffered for their decision to send her to William France Elementary. Her father lost his job as a gas station attendant. The grocery store the family shopped at would no longer let them shop there. You know why? Because they were what? This is all black neighborhoods by this time. Black grocery stores and things of this. They wouldn't let them shop there. Her grandparents, who were sharecroppers in Mississippi, were turned off their land, and a bond and Lucille Bridges separated. Wow, right? Bridges had noted that many others in the community, both black and white, showed support in various ways. Some white families continued to send their children to France despite the protests. The neighborhood provided her father with a new job, right? The neighborhood provided her father with a new job, and local people babysat, watched the house as protesters, and walked behind the federal marshal cars on trips to school. It was not until Bridges was an adult that she learned that the immaculate clothing she wore to school in those first weeks at Francis was sent to her family by a relative of Cole's. See, these white people are helping them out commit this wickedness, right? So what is Proverbs 24? Let me see. Proverbs 24:9, right? Let's go to Proverbs 24:9 real quick, right? Let me bring this out. Proverbs 24:9. Right? Oh, y'all can't see that. Oh, Salakia. Let me
Oh yeah, you gotta bring up.
Yeah, my bad, Salakia. All right. Proverbs 24:9 is real. Right? The scriptures say, the thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men. Right? So our people, right? To our people, he was an abomination. Right? Right? The thought of foolishness is sin. They knew that integration with the same people that was rape, robbing, and murdering you for hundreds of years was not a small, was not a wise choice. It was stupidity at its pinnacle. The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men. I'm pretty sure his brothers and sisters, the other people that were in the neighborhoods, they were telling him, "No, man, don't do this. You need to leave those white folks alone. You need to leave those people alone. You need to stay into the neighborhood, and we need to build up on our own." Don't you see that they're trying to get us back among them, back in their school systems, back in their jobs, back in their industry warehouses, all of this stuff for us to work for them again for little to nothing, and for us to own nothing. We own nothing, and we'll be happy about it. That's it. That's what they tell us. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy about it. And look at our people right now. We own nothing and we're damn sure happy.
It's even worse now, brother, because you look at, you look at how the jobs are and everything, how people are like losing out big time, because everything that led up until this point, from integration into this very point, not us having anything. Now it's like, okay, we're stuck here begging the heathens for a job. And that's even if they decide to give you one. All right. This is why the scripture told us to never trust these people. Ecclesiasticus 12. Were you done, brother? I didn't want to.
No. That's good.
Oh.
That's good. I'll bring that out.
It says, never trust your enemy, because that kind of goes along with what you were just talking about with the Ruby Ridge and how the heathens were coercing her. It says, never trust your enemy, for like as iron rust, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and you shall be unto him as if you had wiped a looking glass, and you shall know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. All right. Set him not by you, lest when he has overthrown you, he stands up in your place. Neither let him sit at your right hand, lest he seek to take your seat, and you at the at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. It's like what brother was saying, when we had a lot of uprisings in slavery, and they was trying to get the hell away from the heathens. They wanted to get away as far away as possible. All they wanted to do was just be left alone and be by themselves. Same thing with Black Wall Street. They just wanted to be left alone. They didn't want their help. They were doing good by themselves. But again, these heathens always, they can't be satisfied with even a smidget of us coming together.
They don't want that to happen, right? They don't okay. What happened after the white man got involved, right? The white man got involved, came into that family, right? Tried to convince their 60-year-old daughter, "Hey man, go to school." Why did the parents divorce? You notice that the parents divorced after that? Why? Because I guarantee you there was a difference in opinion in the home.
Mm-hmm.
There was a difference in opinion in the home. Somebody was disagreeing with that. Somebody was disagreeing with what the situation was, right? I wonder who that was, right? I wonder who had disagreed with the situation. It was not Bridges was in a adult that she learned. Said Bridges was not more than there. I want to see something. I think it said that she was being babysat somewhere. When is she being babysat?
I can't recall.
Okay, I mean both of one applies, but we see that it was a breakdown in the home, right? Just the idea, right, of being among the heathen again, caused a breakdown in the home where those two they became divorced, right? They became divorced. Now, right? That's the exact same thing. If we go back and we look at the let me bring that up. Right? If we go back and we look at the marriage, if we go back and we look at the marriage demographics, right? If we go back and look at the marriage demographics from that particular time, when was this going on? Right? What is it? When was the civil rights movement? Right? The civil rights movement, as we see the Women Right Israel, were what? Between 1950 and 1970, right? So that's when we started the mess. Right now, let's look up. Let's go back up to here, boom, 1950, right here, right? 1950 to 1970, and boom, right after the civil rights movement, look at all the way up to 1980, boom, we got a skyrocket in divorce, skyrocket into men not marrying anymore, harlotry, harlotry, brothers out there full of fornication, they're not marrying anymore. We had we you know what I'm saying, our community is being destroyed. Our community is being outright destroyed, right? Until then,
that's gonna be heavy. That's gonna be heavy in the third part, y'all.
Con. In the second part, we're gonna show how we started to build on this and how and where this skyrocketing came from, on like where we went wrong from 1970 all the way up until now. We're gonna build the second generation, because we're just dealing with the first generation, right? The first generation, then we're gonna do the second generation and the third generation of where we are at today. But you see, it was the beginning of the civil rights era, of the joining with the heathen and adopting their ideas, their mentality, and their ways of life, right? That got us to where we are today, right? That was the beginning. That was the beginning of it. Once we got back around them, guess what? They could form police forces and they could govern over you, and then they could tell you what to do. They can tell you all, hey, now you're under our laws. You know, we're not allowing you to go over there and then create your own community and police your own people. No. We want to convince you, little girls and boys, to go to our schools so you can be amongst us again, so we can watch you. Right?
You know what's crazy? Were you?
No, go ahead, brother. Do you think?
You know what's crazy? I spent a little time in Strasbourg, France. I don't know if you ever heard of that place, but it's a small wine country in France, but it's called Strasbourg. So they have a huge so-called Khazarian community. Them fake Jews and everything. But what's so crazy about it though is that they control their own community. They even have I forgot the name. I forgot what they call their police. There's a name for it. I forgot the name of it. But anyway, they have their own police force and everything. Own communities. We're talking about maybe 30 to 40 square blocks. Okay, it's a lot. Now I say that to bring this out. Just imagine, had we would have just stood 10 toes down, not even bothered with the integration thing, and just stuck with what we had and built on our own. Can you imagine how powerful it would be? Like, a lot of our brothers wouldn't have to worry about trying to find jobs right now. Again, it's a chain reaction, cause and effect, Israel. So when we go against the word of the Most High, there's going to be an effect. All right, the Most High says, keep the commandments. You don't keep the commandments, what's going to be the result of that? That's what you got to look at. And so you look at us now, it's like we're so, should I say it? We're so far down the rabbit hole. Like, the way they got the system set up now, it's like you can't even get your people to come together. You have to come together like in little small twosies or threesies or like-minded brothers, But as far as coming together as a whole, what the heathens have done is that they've put systems in place where it almost makes it damn nearly impossible for everybody to come together, because you got so many of our people that are so integrated with the heathens that they will fight you even if you talked about trying to come together. That's just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Again, that's a result of us early in time, from the first generation, integrating with these people, feeling like we can live among them and be equal, when the Most High says that you're above all nations that are on the earth. You're not equal to them. You're above them. So why would you want to integrate with an inferior race.
Especially when we could do it on our own.
I had to make sure I say that right. Inferior, not inferior, but inferior.
Con, right?
Mhm.
Now, I don't know if y'all was seeing this, the stuff that was playing on the background, right? But you can see that during that particular time, our people were being ruthlessly attacked, right?
All the time.
They were being ruthlessly attacked during the beginning of the civil rights era, right? By trying to, for colors only. Hey, man, we should have been happy that we had our for colors only, right? We should have been, as a people, we should have been churning out electricians, right? Plumbers, right? Things of that nature that we could have made the stuff that we had for colors only the better stuff, right? It only took a few generations for us to build up to that particular level where all of our stuff could have been superior, right? All our stuff could have been better than whatever invention that they came up with. We could have been the ones to, we could have been patented our own inventions and giving it to them. But because that we decided to work for the white man and the white man's company, if you come up with any kind of design or anything of that nature, they're going to be able to have their hands in the pot. They're going to be able to say that, hey, you know what? We discovered electricity. We discovered the light bulb. We discovered the telephone. We made the jet engine. We made the HVAC systems, so forth and so on. Right? When you really break it down and you look at it, these companies of these heathen that have come up with these great inventions, they had a brother working underneath them. A smart brother that was working underneath them that were able to think up these ideas. But because we didn't own anything, due to the lack of understanding of the civil rights era and how they tried to integrate us back into with them, we fell victim to all the great inventions being turned over to the heathens. They get the recognition, right? They got the patent. We don't have the patent as a people. They do, right?
And fast forward today, what do you see? Do you see anybody of our people that have companies out there where in the U.S. they can hire anywhere from 20,000 to 50,000 people? You don't see that. These little mom and pop stores, all right, little hole in the wall restaurants. I mean, that's all good and dandy, but they can't afford to really hire their people. They have to use family members, all right. But we could have been there. We could have been a company like Apple, all right, had our own tech, like brother was saying, had our own stuff, been the biggest black tech company in the world.
Now, Israel, I want you to look at this stuff, right? I'm rebinding about. Look at this, right? Why are we doing this? Why are we going up and when we have our own places that we could be at? Why are you up in the white man's face, right? Crying and begging for them to help you out. You know what I'm saying? Sisters getting ate up by dogs on the ground, being passed out, being mauled by these ravaging animals. This is crazy. Why did our people stoop so low and coon so hard for this stuff? What happened?
The sad part about it, it didn't even accomplish anything. What did it accomplish?
Not a damn thing.
Us, our people being more like the heathens. That's pretty much what it accomplished. That was a win. That was a win for white supremacy.
Look like a bunch of roaches get scattered when you spray some doggone roach spray or something. They just out of there. You hitting them with the hose, right? Doing all kinds. I mean, like, why are people even come up and just man? We shouldn't even worry about that stuff.
And they out there thinking that they're being persecuted for righteousness' sake. That ain't no righteousness' sake. That's just pure ignorance. You're out there just getting your butt kicked, getting sprayed by hoses for what? Because you want to integrate with the enemies. That's wicked. That is wicked, Israel. That ain't dying or suffering for righteousness' sake. Suffering for righteousness' sake is being persecuted because you're keeping the laws. Doing this junk, this is a straight up evil at its highest. Yeah. As for today, all this a waste. They should have spent that energy. Just imagine they would spend that energy buying land, like O.W. Gurley did with some other brothers, and just start building their own communities.
We could have easily done that. And rose above the heathens with the while keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments and believing in our God. You know, when we had like uprisings with I cannot think of the brother's name. He got a movie. The brother got a movie, and there's a where he was doing uprisings, right? And something about To Kill a Nation. I can't remember the name of the movie. I need some help right now.
What's it say?
The Birth of a Nation, right? The Birth of a Nation, right? Now, when Nat Turner, when Nat Turner, right? You know what gave him the spirit to try to overthrow these heathens, right? What gave him the spirit to try to overthrow these heathens was reading the scriptures.
Oh, yes.
Right? That's what gave him the spirit, and the rest of those brothers the spirit to overcome these heathen was to do what? Read the scriptures. You see how much power that does? That has a lot of power on our people, right? In order to be able to read those scriptures and let the Holy Ghost fill you, right? To fill you with the spirit, to try to, fight back against oppression, and to try to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments, and have the belief in the Most High. Notice that when our people were doing that as a whole, because they had the Bible in all the plantations. Yeah, somebody that was out there reading the Bible, and the slaves, they were believing. I think that more during that time, even though we didn't understand exactly what the scriptures were saying, I believe that during more of that time, we were more righteous than we are today. Right? You didn't have all that harlotry going on.
No.
Right? You had brothers and sisters sitting up and listening to the Bible and doing what's going on. And guess what? They were keeping the commandments. Right? Because remember, people used to rest on Saturday for a while before they changed it to Sunday. You didn't do anything. You worked from sun up to sundown, and then they had that one day that they give you off. Right? You had brothers and sisters that was reading the Bible. They were teaching their sons not to lie, not to steal, right? Not to do it. Man, look how our people look. Man, our people don't look that happy and joyful nowadays. Right? That's how people look. Like they be stuck off in the prison somewhere. Right? You go into the hoods, into the into the community, man. You look at your people, they got dead eyes. Their eyes are glossed over from being all drugged out on crack, heroin, crack, heroin, meth, whatever situations may be. Right? Look at that picture back there, right? All the sisters had on dresses. Right? Let me go back to that right quick. Hold up. I saw a bunch of sisters with some beautiful sisters with dresses on. Oh no, I went back too far. Let this maps pass by real quick. Right? So our people we had on, let me see. Dresses. All of them. You didn't see not one sister wearing no pants. Every single one of them wearing dresses. And the brothers are with them. You see how look how happy we look together as a people. Right? We're smiling all together as a people, man. When's the last time you seen us like that? Right? If it's not based out in wickedness. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, you see our people smiling and up in each other's face now, right? You see, twerking going on. You know what I'm saying? You got some, some ignorant nigga just sitting up there letting some woman twerk up on him, not checking him for doing that, and then he's enjoying it. Just wickedness going on, all that. You know what I'm saying? That was good, wholesome, fun dancing. And everything was in order as it should be, right? Believe it or not, we're still in the same struggle today that we were in 1865 when the abolishment of slavery happened. We're in the same struggle, but we don't see it because the chains have been taken off our hands and our feet and have been placed on our minds, and we don't even see it. That's the sad part about it. We don't even see it. Economic power destroyed. Go ahead, brother.
And what they're so afraid of, anytime our people were keeping the laws as a whole, we were the baddest nation on the face of the earth. I'm going to prove that to you too. I'm going to show you what King David was doing when we were back in the days. All right. So let's look at 1 Chronicles chapter 20. 1 Chronicles chapter 20. I'm going to read verses 2 and 3. Because I'm going to show you what these folks are terrified of. If we come together as a people, we unite and come back to the Most High, keep these laws, commandments, and statutes. It says, and David took the crown of their king from off his head and found it to weigh a talent of gold, and there were precious stones in it, and it was set upon David's head, and he brought also exceeding much spoil out of the city. David wasn't playing around. The Most High was always for our people when we keep the laws. And then watch this. It says, and he brought out the people that were in it and cut them with saws. Man, David was cutting people with saws, y'all. With saws. Y'all hear me? Not spears, but cutting people with saws. Cut them with saws and with arrows and of iron and with axes. With axes. Even so dealt David with all the cities of the children of Ammon, and David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. Man, our people were not playing Israel. See, and this is what terrifies the heathens, because they know that if we come together, we keep these laws, they're in trouble. It's over for this. A wrap. It's kaput. They're done. All right, and it ain't gonna be no nice little pat on the back. There's gonna be much slaughter. So Israel, don't let these heathens fool you, because they know exactly who we are. All right, the elites, and they know that what we're capable of. They know what they studied the history of our forefathers, and they wasn't playing cutting them in saw. That's a big pride difference from what we see now. Our people just intermingling and kissing up to their oppressors and just loving it like gravy on rice. It's sad sight. Sad sight. Scripture out.
I want to bring out another scripture, Dan.
This
Pretty much saying the same thing.
Just to show our people, what it was like when we were together, when we keeping the laws.
Were you about to bring out a scripture? Was that
no,
on the board?
That's a good
one.
Second
right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, So we're going to 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14, right? And it says, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sin and will heal their land, right? See, this is, heal their land, because guess what? We don't have a land right now, because we've got them damn heathens in it that are over there, that have migrated from the Iberian Peninsula, saying that they us, right? And we already know that they're not us, right? But we have to seek the Most High's face. We got to turn from our wicked ways. That means we have to keep the commandments, Israel. As much as our people don't want to do that, right? We've landed ourselves in this situation because we have strayed away from the Most High and from the education. Matter of fact, let me type a word in the scriptures, right? I got one. Right? Let me type one in. All right, hold up. Education, right? It says that the law, statutes, and commandments. That the law, statutes, and commandments are the education, right? But as you see, during the time that we was trying to get in with the heathen, what were we doing, right? We were concentrating on being with the heathens' education, right? Going to their schools, right, and going to the heathen education. Now, boom, right? Being lessons, yes, nurses brought this in during troubles of education. Hold up. Let us live in righteousness, because he's not a turn clean of doing operated with that from his law objected to our infernal transgressions of our education. All of Israel. Hey, brother, take him away with something. Let me find this real quick.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I do want to bring something out. Just speaking on how our people were when they were keeping the commandments and everything. When you look at integration, we're still talking about the first generation. And I saw someone make a comment. They had a pretty good comment. I wanted to bring it up right quick if I can find it. All right. And I'm just going to concentrate on the first one. It says, because they did not know they'd be in a perpetual state of begging and thought they were pursuing justice. And I agree with that, because they were sold a false scenario. They were sold a false ticket. And even Martin Luther King even admitted right before he died that he led his people into a burning house. All right. But by then it was already too late. The damage has already been done. And if you notice, every downtown area, there's a Martin Luther King Boulevard. And do you know that everywhere there's a Martin Luther King Boulevard, it's like the crime is like the worst in that area. All right. So who did it benefit? Who did integration benefit? It benefited, first of all, white supremacy. It benefited the heathens, because now the heathens have all the wealth. It was the same thing that happened in South Africa. Their apartheid. All right, when Nelson Mandela, when he first started the revolution, he was bombing stuff. You know, he was bombing like heathen organization, their companies and stuff, and it would have been powerful if they would have kept on doing that. But he became political. Nelson Mandela became political. By the time he got out of prison, they fattened him up. You know, they gave him a what was it, like I don't know, it was 15 million or something like whatever. The house was millions of dollars. They fattened him up, and he became too political, and he signed the agreement and turned over the power to the majority of the white, and that's why they're suffering until this very day. So Israel, they're very skillful planners. They plan strategically. All right, and this is why the scripture tells us to never trust them. And so now we're in a perpetual state of begging, committing crimes. We have no companies of ourselves that we can hire our own people who are struggling. And this is why, you know, that families keep each other down, especially Israelite families, because, you know, everybody's struggling, and it's like everybody's keeping everybody's broke because we don't have nothing of our own. It's sad.
Now, when we had that sister Ruby Bridges, when she had joined that school, right, and that elementary school in 1960, right, to try to you know, to get the white man's education, right, because they were complaining and saying that their schools, well, because our people, right, the Israelites, were complaining and saying that the white man's schools were better than ours, right? But during the time of the slavery uprisings, right, we were keeping the commandments, and well, I would say that you know, we were studying the Bible more. We were locked down, and we were more striving towards righteousness than we were with wickedness, right? Because the true education comes from the scriptures, right? 2 Maccabees 6:23. But he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray hair, whereon was come of his most honest education from a child. Now let's see what he learned from a child. His most honest education was, or rather, the holy law made and given by God. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightways to send him to the grave, right? His most honest education from a child was the holy law made and given by the Most High God, right? It has nothing to do with the white man. He's telling you that the world is round, right? It has nothing to do with the white man telling you that there's a such thing as gravity when there's not. There's enough thing to do with with these heathen telling you that there's a damn solar system and you're in the middle of nowhere and you don't know where God is. That's what they want to do. They want to get you separated from reality, separated from your God, because they want to separate you from your power. The only way that we can regain power and to rise up from this state of economic degradation, right, and start to concentrate on obtaining the kingdom of the Most High God and to get our nation out of this situation, is to go back to the true and most honest education, which is the laws, statutes, and commandments given to our people.
That's right.
By the Most High God.
There's the proof. There's the proof in the pudding right here, Israel. It says Ecclesiasticus 19:19. It says the knowledge of the commandments of Yahweh is the doctrine of life, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. And you can precept that with Revelation 14:12. Right? It says the fear of Yahweh is all wisdom, and all wisdom is the performance of the Torah, and the knowledge of his omnipotency. If you know, I won't read that one, but just that's what the power is, Israel. This is why me and Brother Aton, we push this so heavily, because this is the key to coming out of wickedness. This is the key to coming out of oppression.
Con. Hey, what was that scripture you shared with me the other day in Deuteronomy? It was talking about the abomination shouldn't be brought into the home. It was Deuteronomy something. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, Deuteronomy. Let me go there.
Yeah. Bring that out, right? Because I wanted to, I really wanted to bring something out about that and how that's pretty much.
All right, there it is, right there. You mean when we start at?
You can start at the beginning. I'll start at the beginning of the precept. You had.
Okay, right. So,
Yeah.
so
Hold up. Let me switch the look so I can see it.
yeah.
All right, there we go. Con.
All right, so this is Deuteronomy 7:25, also with verse 25. It says, the graven images of their Elohim shall ye burn with fire. Meaning all that stuff that our people have in their homes, the Christmas trees, that old white Zeus, Jesus Zeus, they need to burn that stuff.
That's
Ye
right.
shall not desire the silver or gold that is on them, nor take it unto you, lest ye be snared therein, for it is an abomination to Yahweh. Right?
Halalakia. Right.
That's
Now,
right.
now before Brother Daniel goes on to the next, this is a situation, right? The graven images of their Elohim shall ye burn with fire. Right. The same thing with that white dude came in, they shot up that church.
Mhm.
Right. The graven images in that church was white Jesus. That's not our God.
That's
Right. The God of the Torah, the most high God of the Torah, Yahweh, does not look like a so-called white man. Right. You have to be a damn idiot to believe that your God looks like the same people that raped, robbed, and murdered you for hundreds of years and let that happen. Like, why would you want to oh man, well, I'm getting beat down by these white people down here, and so when I die, I gotta go up to the kingdom and see another one. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you call that's what you call Stockholm syndrome to the fullest, and that's why they watch everything. Why? Because they know that Elohim was black in to begin with, so they had to paint the images like unto themselves.
Right.
You want me to read that second one?
Con.
It says, "Neither shall ye bring an abomination into your house, lest ye be a cursed thing like it, but you shall utterly destroy it, and you shall utterly abhor it, for it is a cursed thing."
How many cursed things do we bring into our house? Right. From the very beginning. This could even be an idea. Did you know that? A cursed thing can be an idea, because guess what? That's where all cursed things begin at.
Yep.
Ideas, right? You think about something and then you transform it into reality, right? You manifest it, right? You try to manifest it into reality, right? This is where these wicked ideas, they begin from, right? Neither shall you bring in an abomination into your house, lest you be a cursed thing like it. Look at our people, right? We went from holding our own ideas to bring in the ideas and the abominations of the heathen into our home, which in turn destroyed us economically, allowed the heathen to see a weakness, right? A chink in our armor, where they steadily attacked over and over again, to the point that we went from initially separating ourselves from our captors and our oppressors to actually fighting to want to eat at their same restaurants and to be around them. That is the epitome of Stockholm syndrome, like Brother Daniel was saying earlier.
Mhm.
Wickedness on a whole new level.
He was still doing that. I saw a video, and it was a brother, and I guess he was in a so-called Native American owned store, and the lady was calling all kinds of names, called her an N-word, and he's still sitting up there trying to reason with the woman, trying to reason with the heathen on why he should be shocked there. And I'm like, you dummy, like, our people just, oh man, it just gets under my skin. When our people try to reason with their enemies.
Yeah,
begging to sit at the dinner table.
God, straight wickedness, man. I don't get it, bro.
And you wonder why. And that's why I can't get mad. I can't get mad when I see tons of our people that can't find jobs, because we did this to ourselves. We really did. We screwed ourselves up, and so now our people are forced to be beggars. Beggars, and turn to a life of crime. And this is only the beginning.
Man, Israel, I don't get it, Israel. Why do we do the stuff that we do, right? Why do we do the things that we do? Right? In the back, saying, like, this is a beautiful sight. So you got a number of our people. It says like, all our people hanging around each other, right? There's safety, right? This is Babylon all over again.
Yeah.
Right? When we came out of Babylon, right? And when King Artaxerxes, when the Most High put the spirit on King Artaxerxes to let us out of Babylon and to come back home, right? The Most High had to correct us, right? To tell us to step away from the heathen ideas, divorce, get rid of the heathen women and any mamzer babies that you made with them, right? Things of that nature, says stuff that in the land of Babylon, they wanted you to believe that was okay. What makes you, the Most High does not change, as the scriptures say. They say Yahweh Shai is today the same today, yesterday, and forever. Right? That's what the scriptures say. Right? Scriptures say that Yahweh, he changes not. So if Yahweh changes not, and Hamashiach doesn't change as well, what makes our people believe for 1 second, right? What makes our people believe for 1 second that anything like this could happen, right? That that the Most High wants us to be, down with their, wants our people to be down with their people, right? The Most High wants us to be down with the heathen again, but wants us to be, sit there and chill and to be happy and the frolic in the park with these heathens. No, the Most High said from the beginning, we are a separate people.
What's crazy? Like, I was just looking at some of the images that you were showing earlier, and when you see our people, especially the women, you hardly did not see one overweight sister. I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed the difference, even in size and everything.
Yeah. Even the brothers too.
Yeah,
brothers too, because there's a lot of overweight brothers.
We were, we weren't anorexic, but we were fit. We were not overweight compared to now. It's like ridiculous. It's like every single sister back in the 50s was just beautiful.
I'm just get upset because the envy that we had, right, for these heathen is just on a whole other level. Like if I saw a white bathroom and I saw a black bathroom, guess what? If I was a plumber, electrician, or whatever the case may be, or worked in a factory from before, I'll be in there making the black bathroom look so good. Yeah, it'll look so good in there. You know what I'm saying? That the white man will be begging us to come to our bathrooms. We were so slow as a people that we couldn't even we couldn't get it. We couldn't build, we couldn't just stick it out. All we had to do was stick it out for a little while. Look, you know what I'm saying? The greatness that our people can do on our own is just ridiculous. I hate that we have become such a weak people that now we just beg and cry and just whine and crying about every damn thing, right? Instead of just getting it ourselves.
I should believe the Most High used that to try to wake Israel up. Hey, look, you should be happy. Like you said, you should be happy that you have color only. And make the best of it and exploit that thing. It's crazy because even
look at that black restaurant. You saw that? Look at that. All brothers up in there eating, chilling.
Even the heathens did not want integration. Majority of the heathens did not want it. This was pushed by very few white liberals and people who had a lot of money to back it up.
Right, man. We're strong, man. Much department temporarily closed. It's all good, right? They were scared of our people the same way that the Egyptians were. Right, they don't want us to multiply and get stronger, right? They don't want us to, right? And guess what? Hey, sad to say, but the Most High don't want us to either until we start keeping the commandments, right? The wicked are born for the sword. You best believe that, right? So it's going to take strength, discipline, leadership, a little bit, a submission from the women, right, for us to get back right.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hard because our community has been heavily damaged. The men, right, the men have grew up without fathers, a lot of them, right, so they don't know how to handle high stressful situations, right?
Heavily damaged and heavily infiltrated.
Right, so I was just watching something where they had this. I was just watching something where they had this. This brother, I think Brother Daniel sent it to me, right? He was fighting his mom or whatever, right? But his mom, so he was like 13, 14. He was, by that time, right, the testosterone pops in, he's a little stronger. He doesn't really respect his mom anymore because he knows that she doesn't really pose any threat because he's stronger than her now. Now, if the father was in the home, that wouldn't go down. He wouldn't dare disrespect his father. Hey, you want to try act like a man? I'm gonna whoop your ass like a man, and then take your ass to your room. Get to sweeping up and cleaning up them dishes, and don't back talk your mama. That's the situation that we did. This is why the sisters are not being respected, because they don't have any men in the home to teach the men respect for the sisters. Right? You don't go around and slap no woman on the ass. Or you don't go around and talk to women like that. Guess what? If the sisters don't hear that kind of stuff, they automatically understand what it means to be treated with respect. But because we don't have fathers in the home to teach to teach the men of this situation, and because we have our community being destroyed by these damn heathens on every angle that we have, right? They have purposely weakened our nation to the point that they have gotten rid of all male leadership. Right? We don't have any strong males in our community anymore. Look at this dude right here. He got a bald face looking like a boy. We don't have strong leaderships. We don't have strong leaderships in the home anymore, right? Our people, that's why they don't like you with beards. You know why? Because you look like a real man with a beard. You look grizzled, right? You look like you're ready to go to war, and you ain't taking no crap from nobody. You got your own ideas. It looks like you stand up and you're with your people. Man, you're going around looking like them, shaving your face off like a boy. The scripture said that when you are a man, right, and when you're a child, you do childish things. When you're a child, you can't grow hair on your face. But when you're a man, you do manly things, right? You turn away from the ways that way you were doing that you were a child.
How can a lion be a lion without his mane?
Facts.
It's like a brother Israelite without his beard.
So we got to stand up here. Israel, we got to stand up. Leave these heathens alone in the way that they believe alone. So what? We're over here in our country. True, it's not our land, right? And we're not trying to make it our land. But we do need to make our own community stronger. We do need to rely on each other, because if we don't rely on each other and the Most High, but the Most High first, right? And then each other, because we all need the same book. We all need the same set of rules, laws, right? To understand and to go by, so we know how to treat each other correctly and how we can get up out of this situation. It's crazy, Israel.
Good point.
Go ahead, brother.
No, Israel, but that's kind of what we wanted to bring you for part one. Just this lay the foundation, so that you can see how our people were like. They were just so resilient shortly after slavery, and look what they built. We'll be back next week by the grace of the Most High with the second part.
That's right.
But Israel, bottom line, it's getting back to these laws, commandments. I know you hear it. I know we beat it to the ground, but hey, these laws are going to last forever, Israel. So when the Most High takes us into the wilderness, guess what? We're under grace right now, and I truly believe that grace is overextended. And we better praise and thank the Most High for that, because it's going to come back, Israel. When we go, it's not going to be no excuse, because you know why? We're not going to have anyone stopping us from keeping the laws. There's not going to be no distractions from keeping the laws. All right. We're going to
$3 a barrel for oil. I'm sorry, I was just looking at the pictures. $3 a barrel for oil.
We're gonna be with our own people, just like it was in the wilderness.
God.
While they were out in the wilderness, that's why people were being stoned to death, because there was no excuse. You don't have no Egyptians telling you can't. You have to work on the Shabbat. We didn't have that. We were able to keep our laws freely. Right?
Just look at our people in the background, right? I know y'all watching. As Brother Daniel was talking, right? Our people were self-sufficient.
Yep.
Right? All of those oil mills and oil rigs we had built on our own. We didn't need no help from the white man. We didn't have our hand out. It said the first national bank, Negro owned, right? Israelite owned, right? We didn't need the help from the heathens there. We knew what to do on our own. So this is definitely, right? This is 1000% an agenda, a planned attack that these heathen have, right, for our people. From the very beginning.
The same reason why they took trades out of school. It wasn't because they wanted to stop the whites from doing it. See, you got to understand how the heathens work. They'll sacrifice their own people just to get to us. So they took those eventually out of the schools. Because I remember taking up carpentry and taking up some skills, auto mechanics, in these trades that they had in schools. So you could be self-sufficient. But they don't have that stuff anymore in schools.
It's crazy, Israel.
Yep. So that right there tells you. It's a planned agenda. They don't want us rising up.
All right, Israel. So we covered from 1865 to about to almost at the beginning of the civil rights era, right? Next lesson, we're gonna divulge a little bit more about the civil rights era on up to past the 80s. We're gonna get into the second generation of our destruction, right? But
Right.
we wanted to show where it began, right? Where it began, where we had our economic power, and where we had the chance, to actually come out of poverty, come out of degradation, come out of oppression. But instead, we chose to go right back into the hands of our oppressor. Right? Through means, of course, it wasn't our own doing. Of course, we were influenced, as we see, right? You got little kids and heathens up there trying to hey, you know what? Yeah, man, let's convince them to get back with us, because we see that the Great Depression has killed our people, right? I'm not talking about Israelites. I'm talking about the heathens. The heathens were going down the Great Depression during that time. They needed us. Look at what we were doing, though. We were chilling, baptizing brothers. They was in the water, trying to live by the word. That's us as a whole, as a people, that we were doing. That we were doing big things, right? As a people, we were trying back in the day. But now, after the Great Depression, these heathens said that what? They need Israel. They needed us. So in the fight to get us back, they devised a plan of reintegration to offset the Great Depression, to get their numbers up, and to get niggas back into slavery. You can get your ass back into jail. You know what I mean? We're going to break up the family so we can, you know what I'm saying? So y'all can raise up weak men, and we can get y'all daughters to be on our team, right? You know what I'm saying? The doggone, they're still implementing the Willie Lynch letters. If y'all weren't there a couple of weeks ago when we came out with the Willie Lynch, right? They're still implementing the same plans. We got to grow out of that, Israel. We got to come back to the natural order that the Most High has set up so we can rise up as a people. What you got, Brother Tolbert? You got a little question? Because we're about to close it down.
Yeah, what's your question? Yeah.
Con, right.
You can come on if you want to, brother. Put a link in the screen. Brother, if you want to come on, feel free to come on. Bring on the backstage. Just let us see your face and everything, and then you can just camera back on. Put your camera back off afterwards.
Let me see something. Why is my thing doing this? Oh, that's why. Slovakia. Hey, Israel. I mean, AI, you're gonna have to send him the link. My thing cutting up.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Over here, my fault. Slovakia. What do you say?
Put it right in there.
We were misled into making them take our money, and now our foreigners are draining our communities dry. Yeah, because Israel's slow, right? Israel, we don't want to, Israel's slow. That's the same thing with our people. It seems that we have the smartest of all the nations in our group, and we have the and then we have the dumbest of our group.
And then they really hit the nail on the coffin with the immigration, because guess where they send them folks at? They'll send them right there in the so-called Israeli neighborhoods, and we really don't have our own neighborhoods, Israel. We really think about it, we don't. Basically, it's just poor whites. And you got some Hispanics and Mexicans, and then you got some poor so-called blacks.
Says, I was baptized in New Jersey. I guess he's saying the pastor was an Edomite. No, brother, you were just dunked on the water. You were not baptized. He just dunked you under the water. That was it.
Oh, was that the question?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe he's asking that. Now, as far as baptism, I guess we'll discover that. We'll talk about that later. That's a whole nother lesson.
Yeah.
Altogether. But yeah, brother. Don't worry. As long as you're about what? Well, go ahead, Op.
No, I was gonna say maybe after we do our 3 parts and everything, we can do some more baptism.
God, there is no Edomite in the truth.
No.
There is no such thing as an Edomite or any other heathens in the truth, because they can never be included in the truth, because they don't have the covenant to be included in the truth. They only included in lies, wickedness, and misdirection.
That's right. And nowhere, you're not going to find anywhere in the scriptures where the Most High gave the covenant to the other nations. Not.
Yeah. Or any of our people were baptized by any other nation of people. You ain't going to see that in the scriptures. It's only Israelites dealing with Israelites when it comes to the faith, right? Or spiritual, spiritual situations. We don't deal with the heathens unless you're trying to kill them, right? Or put them in slavery. We don't. The heathens are really not our concern, right? All right, Israel. I
So,
believe that's it for me. And I'm gonna
that's
let
it for me.
Brother Dane got something else for us.
Well, I'm going to continue to just going to let y'all enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. I'm going to meditate and been having a blessing being with you all.
Mm.
Let me see. Oh yeah. I was just looking at this last one. You said you shall.
Yeah, you should see Compton, California today. The Latinos waged war against us. I mean, I guess that means the brothers there.
Oh yeah.
The sellout gangbanger gave our neighborhood away. That's right. A lot of these it's a great percentage of, like, I think this is a 90 percentile. These gangbangers. Sorry, sisters, I hate to to bring y'all back into it, but well, you don't have to get baptized. Oh, hold on. I'll deal with that in a second. But a lot of the gangbangers, they come up from single mother homes. Like I was saying again, they don't have any fathers, don't know fatherly structure to tell you, it's stupid to be, mean mugging your brother that look just like you just for no reason, or you all want to fight because somebody, deals with a different color than something else, right? This is just absolute foolishness, right? That is clearly, a fatherless behavior, right? Khan, yeah, I'm praying for you, brother. I'm glad you came out of it, and all praises to the Most High that you are in the truth, right? Well, brother, as long as you keep those laws, statutes, and commandments, you have been baptized by the word, right? Which is really what is supposed to be happening.
Mm-hmm.
Baptized by the word.
Actually, what can you pull that verse? It's I will baptize. Indeed, John the Baptist baptized you with water, but the one that coming after me will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and with burning. So, baptism is not it's not a requirement at all, because when you repent, to repent means to turn away. You can get baptized 1,000 times and still get thrown into the lake of fire if you don't keep these laws. That does not save you. All right. So, I mean, you can. I mean, there's nothing. It's not necessary. All right. Keeping the laws is necessary. Repentance is what's going to get you through. So, repent means to completely turn away from the sin. So, for example, if you got stuff like unruly tattoos, just don't get any more. Right. Just stop whatever wickedness that a person is doing. You have to stop that and just repent from it. And don't do it no more.
All right, Connor, before we go, here's the scripture right here. It says, what? Then remembered I the word of the Lord, that how he said, John indeed baptized with water, but ye shall be baptized with the Holy Ghost.
That's right.
All right.
And the Holy Spirit is the one who leads you into all truth. It is the quickening spirit. So,
That's right. All right, Israel. I believe that is it for me.
All right.
Brother Daniel, take us out.
So we're going to bid you all a hearty Shabbat Shalom.
Stay strong, Israel.